Bipolar disorder, periods of depression and then an elevated mood. Can last anywhere between a couple of days and several weeks. But see, if the elevated mood is severe, it can associate with psychosis, a condition of the mind that renders it pretty difficult to determine what is real and what isn't. You don't want to find yourself in one of these states ever. You can be literally delusional and hallucinate. You might even make up your own language and do inappropriate things. I know once I took a piss at the bus stop in broad daylight. Everyone was looking at me with judgmental disgust. Like I care what they think. But the thing is, however, that people today have cell phones with a record button. It's that easy to assassinate somebody, to put them on full blast for anyone with an opinion to form. Bipolar disorder is a mental illness that can lead to psychosis. It can be called mania. Bipolar used to be called manic depression. It's the heightened state of arousal where you just have so much energy you don't know what to do with yourself. You're still sad. Everybody needs something to pass the time. Imagine having a heightened mood, and it can randomly be euphoric or dysphoric. You have no choice in the matter. All you can do is feel the pendulum swing. You can't watch it because you can't consciously see it, in case you're wondering. We make impulsive decisions with little regard for the consequences. I know, it sounds like there are way more bipolar individuals than you thought who are in power. You don't need to sleep during manic phases, and why would you want to? You can feel good for much longer. 6% of us kill ourselves and 30 to 40 self-harm because you get to a point where you'll do anything to take the pain away. Sometimes we abuse drugs and alcohol to try and balance out. Nobody knows the cause of bipolar. The pills the doctors give barely work. I started distrusting the quack until he said something that sounded unreal. And I know I'm real. I live in it. Dante's Inferno 24/7. I'm in a different circle of hell while I'm breathing. He told me about an approach, a technique, something that would make the voices go away, that would help me get up in the morning at a reasonable time. I could have friends, a job, possibly even a boyfriend who doesn't just use me for sex. A better relationship with my parents, my brothers and sisters, my extended family. I could even go back to school and get a degree. How does that sound? It sounded almost too good to be true. But I wanted to give in. This hump was too heavy. A lifetime of mistakes because of this thing no one knows where it came from. The doctor promised me that the land of milk and honey was waiting for me. So I rowed my boat. ECT, electroconvulsive therapy, also known as electroshock therapy from that Jack Nicholson movie. I didn't like that movie. I loved it. That's why I was so giddy when the doctor recommended it. The derived unit for electrical potential, volts, are sent through the head externally. From milliseconds to seconds, temple to temple, paradise is delivered. 80 to 90% of people with treatment-resistant depression succeeded with ECT. With numbers that high, why would I go against it? To say no would be a shocking conclusion. I'd be put under general anesthesia. I swam through those small electric currents. The purpose was to induce a small seizure. That's what I'm talking about. Reversing the effects of mental illness was my language, baby. I didn't care that these professionals don't exactly know how it works or what the effects are on the brain. It's sometimes effective. Sometimes it's good. No more failed therapy. 8 magical times I had it done, twice a week for 4 weeks. I had no idea what it would feel like or what it would do to my overall being, but I felt this need, like a constant wind current guiding me. I was running after this eventuality. It was the first time in my life I ever believed in anything. Do you know how sweet and precious that is? To believe in something greater than yourself and all your problems? First thing in the morning, I went to my outpatient treatment. I wasn't the only one there for it, but I can guarantee you I had the biggest smile. Maybe that's why I usually went last. I had the opportunity to witness patient after patient leave this realm and enter nirvana. Set me up with that IV and hook that electrode up to my temple, baby. I am ready for you. I had both sides attached, the full treatment. They gave me a muscle relaxant, even though I specifically stated I didn't want it. What I did want was to feel every bit of this procedure, feel what heaven is like. They told me it was to keep me from breaking any bones, so I caved on that. Then it went black. Lost consciousness. The last thing I remember is an army of doctors and nurses. Even though their scrubs were blue, it blended to white for a moment. This cavalry of angels was watching over me with love and tolerance. That was the longest moment of my life, between the death of the old Gwen and my reawakening. This is uncommon, but I had a small dream while I was down under. I came across a friend of mine painting in the park at night. He was using yellow, green, light colors. The park shifted into a classroom and someone passed me a note thanking me for all I had done. I turned and my friend's canvas was in the center of the classroom with its Picasso-esque portrait everyone was clapping at and throwing jewelry and candy at. My friend threw his white jacket across the room as I approached the canvas. Just then, I came to, with a headache and my body feeling sore. I was so happy I walked home, even though my head pain aggravated and my body became more sore. The perks of living in Manhattan. The French say an orgasm is a little death. Well, a medically induced seizure is a little life. I threw away the muscle relaxants they gave me, but did take a little Tylenol. I could feel it happening already. The fog was slowly lifting and the sun was shining on a happy little town bustling and hustling. I didn't feel it right away. I had to do it several more times. Then the memory problems began. I couldn't remember what I just ate for breakfast. I couldn't remember my mother's phone number. But I also couldn't remember why I was depressed. I couldn't remember why I was feeling the way I felt. And that brief, tiny instant was the bliss I think the doctor was referring to. Consciously fleeting, but it felt so permanent in the moment. I have permanent memory loss. New information just comes and goes. My family members strike me as strangers on occasion. There's room in my heart for error, but in my mind I still ride these waves, up, down. How many people do you know are living the dream?